Welcome back, basketball fans. So I'm sitting here watching Caitlin Clark versus Flau'jae Johnson and thinking about this next generation of female basketball players. Obviously, I remember watching the WNBA when it first started and some of the great players back in the day. Um, and then, of course, I've paid attention throughout the years when really big transitional type of players came from college to the WNBA to see their impact. Didn't follow, didn't really watch, but always sort of paid attention. And then, of course, once Caitlin Clark came in, it's really gotten a big boost. And Caitlin Clark obviously deserves tons of credit because she brought the eyes to the WNBA. But what's going to keep the eyes on the WNBA is this next generation of female player. I'm not talking about just the big girls. The big girls obviously always bring a lot of attention, dominating inside, obviously being far bigger than a lot of their competitors, obviously rebounding in defense, right? Big men in the WNBA is an important aspect. It's not quite the NBA game, which is so up and down. You have a great big man in the WNBA, and you can be a very dominant team, as we've seen over the years, obviously with Angel Wilson. Angel, not Angel. What's your name? Wilson. See, I don't even know why I can't even think of her name. But for Las Vegas, and of course, Stewart from New York, and how they've kind of dominated over the last, probably 5-6 years. But with this new generation of player, these players are showing you such great overall skill, right? Obviously, Caitlin Clark currently top 5. Currently, I think she's number 4 in scoring in the WNBA and number 2 in assists, right? Obviously, having the best year of her career, potentially right there for MVP voting, depending on how she finishes the year and how her team ends up doing. But you look at this next generation of players who've came after her, right? And that's what I'm talking about. These college players that sort of have been following in her footsteps and just picking it up and look like potentially they're going to take it to the whole next level. Example, today I'm watching Flau'jae Johnson. And Flau'jae Johnson, Sue Bird, when she was in Seattle, what a team that was, with the Australian girl, Lauren Jackson. Wow, 2 white girls dominated the WNBA. But I'm watching Flau'jae Johnson, and she's the prototypical basketball player. She's probably about 6'1", not so tall, but really long arms, which defensively make her very dangerous. And you look at her handle. She plays, like I played, good handle, able to cross over, get to her spots. Offensively, looks very smooth and very athletic, right? Then you got, Olivia Miles, who should have been the number 1 draft pick coming out of this year, easily over Fudd. And I know Fudd's a great shooter, but overall Fudd is a bit more of a one-dimensional player. She's a shooter. So when she has a great player behind her giving her shots, she's going to do very well as far as that aspect of her game. But when you think about Olivia Miles, this girl's averaging like 26 and 6 in her first year in the WNBA. Like, she's the prototypical all-around basketball player. I just saw a great pass that she made today, catching with one hand and then throwing it through her legs to her teammate who was out on the 3-point line. Caitlin Clark, 24 points. But great pass. And such flair, and obviously setting her team up for an open 3. She's fantastic. And, tall, athletic, and very skilled overall. Then you think about Paige Beckers, obviously Fudd's teammate, and the far more overall great player out of the 2 of them. That's why Fudd was so successful playing with Paige, because Paige is such a great all-around player, right? She can pass, she has a great handle, she can get her own offense, and she can set up her teammates. And that's why right now she's one of the most influential players in the WNBA, right? The biggest hurdle she's had in her career has been injuries, dating all the way back to her first year, I think, in college. This was a girl who came out and was supposed to be the next superstar WNBA player, and injuries kind of, took away some of the shine, but obviously she still was super successful, winning for UConn, being one of the best players now in the WNBA. Then you think about one of my favorite players, Sonia Cintron. Cintron is great, similar to the girls I've just mentioned. Great all-around player. Passing, rebounding, scorer. She's the perfect player, the glue player that all the players I've just mentioned are, right? If you play on teams with these players, they're going to make you better, right? And that's why these players are so sensational. Obviously, they want to win, but what makes them fantastic is their overall skill set. Back in the day, you had great players, but compared to these players today, these players obviously have decades of how sports consistently grows and improves. Players learn from the past, and because of that, it develops. And you can see these players I just mentioned really developing to that next level. And all these players are first, second year players. Cintron, very young. Obviously, Olivia Miles, super young. Paige Becker is super young. Obviously, Caitlin Clark, out of all of them, she's the older one out of all in her third year in the WNBA, right? Now a veteran in comparison to these other girls. And if you think about it, the best is still to come, right? I know an injury sort of took away last year and took away some of the shine and some of the hype behind her, but you can't ignore it completely. The fact that Juju Watkins is going to be coming to the WNBA next season is unbelievable. Juju she reminds me of, I'm struggling for names. Great player in college, great WNBA player. She does lots of commentating with Chuck and Shaq now. Obviously, she could dunk back in the day. She was a fantastic WNBA player, and obviously a player I did follow, even though now for some reason her name escapes me. Very beautiful woman as well. But Juju is like her, but obviously a decade or more after. She's bringing more skill to the game. People talked about how she was going to be the Kobe Bryant of the WNBA. And as long as she fully recovers from her injuries, I expect her to be Rookie of the Year next year. But like when she comes out, I expect her to be in this group as one of the top young players in the WNBA. And Juju is that next generation of great players. And then you're going to have Beckers, Olivia Miles, Cintron, obviously Flau'jae. If you're a women's basketball fan, the next 5 years is a very exciting time in the league, and definitely an opportunity for the league to grow. If the league can get away from all the bullshit, play straight up basketball, not go out there playing the dirty ball that people sort of think that is the norm with them, and just really do what people hope that they do, play basketball and just be at their best, show people the skill set and how these ladies can play. And that's what I'm looking forward to from this next generation of WNBA players. Let me know in the comment section below, which of these young players is your favorite? And who do you think is potentially going to become the face of the WNBA?